Hey, good morning. I'm Patricia Murphy. It's Friday. This is Seattle Now. This week, Seattle hotels say bookings ahead of the FIFA World Cup are underwhelming. Good Morning America showed off our region's beauty by broadcasting from a ferry, and the Seattle Stair Walkers are finding community while doing an activity a lot of people hate. Arts reporter Jas Keimig and Factal editor Veyera are here to break down the week. But first, let's get you caught up. King County has announced it's rolling out a free waterfront shuttle service later this month. Local World Cup organizers are sponsoring the service that will take riders between Seattle Center and the Stadium District, stopping at several locations, including Pike Place Market and the Chinatown International District. Beginning May 21st, the shuttle will run every 15 minutes between 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. On match days, it'll run every 10 minutes. Speaking of transit, prepare for light rail disruptions this weekend, especially if you're headed to the airport. Beginning early Saturday, shuttle buses will replace light rail trains between the Rainier Beach Station and SeaTac Airport. Service will get back to normal on Monday morning. And the Seattle Storm tip off the 2026 season tonight at Climate Pledge Arena. During the offseason, the Storm lost their top 5 scorers from last year, but they've replenished the roster with some very promising rookies, including first-rounder Flau'jae Johnson. Tonight's opener against the Golden State Valkyries tips off at 7 o'clock. Check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now. It is Friday again. The sun really makes it easy to spot all that pollen in the air. Jas Keimig is here. They're a local arts reporter. Good to see you, Jas.
Good to see you, too.
Veyera is here as well. He's an editor at Factal. Joe, thanks for coming in.
Great to be back.
Okay, you two, before we dive in, Good Morning America made a stop in Washington this week on a Seattle to Bainbridge ferry on Thursday. It's part of their 50 states and 50 weeks trip to celebrate America's 250th birthday and 50 years of Good Morning America. GMA also showed a pre-taped segment, Whale Watching, on the Puget Sound Express. Is this a good representation of Seattle and our state to a national audience?
Yeah. I mean, at least it's a good representation of Seattle to a national audience. I love the ferries. I don't rely on them for transportation, so maybe I have a different relationship to them than the people that live in Bremerton or on the islands. I always tell people when they come into town, I'm like, just take the ferry to Bremerton and back, and that's 2 hours on the water. And even if the weather is bad, it's still so beautiful.
That is a fantastic piece of advice for anybody that comes in. Just hop on the ferry and take a little trip.
Yeah, and it's cheap, relatively. Yeah. There's a Jimmy John's right downtown, so that's kind of my itinerary.
That's a good turnaround. Well, the whale watching was interesting because they made a big point about the humpback whales and the increase of humpbacks, and they were so excited. And then they said, and we didn't see an orca. And I thought, that's because they're not here. Their numbers are going down. And they didn't focus on that.
Happy America 250. The orcas are dying. But you do get the best of both worlds with the ferry, because like you come into downtown, or you're heading out to the islands, or you're heading out to Bremerton, and it's just two entirely different experiences depending on where you end up. Yeah. So I think that adds to the allure of it.
Yeah, they took the boat to Friday Harbor in the pre-tape segment, and they had a lovely lunch, but of course no orcas. Is this a good reminder of how beautiful our region is? It made me wonder, we take all this stuff for granted, but this was like national eyes, the national lens on what we do here. And for us, this is just the beauty we live with every single day.
Yeah, it was so funny. I am addicted to reading comment sections, and I was reading the comment section on an article about this, and people were like, hopefully this will shed a light on how terrible our ferry system is. So I feel like this is also very Washington State in the sense that, it is very beautiful. We do take it for granted, but sometimes people are just like, I hate our transportation system.
The true spirit of the city.
True spirit. There are two types of people. There are the ones that are going to complain in the comments section about the ferries, and then there are the rest of us that are waiting in lines for who knows how long at T-Mobile Park to get our commemorative ferries, because we love the ferries so much.
Well, GMA's ferry segment was taped bright and early Thursday morning at 4 a.m. How would you react as a ferry commuter if your boat was taken over by GMA? And are you one that's lining up to try to get in there?
So hijacked by the GMA host, that could be great great morning television, but I don't know if that's what I'm going for in my commute.
Yeah.
No, I'd be so annoyed. I love shining the spotlight, but I am so grumpy in the morning and I do not care.
All right.
If I'm up at 4 a.m. to begin with, like something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
Like, something's gone wrong.
Is it even light outside?
I wouldn't know.
Not this time. No, not this time here. It's not. Moving on to the big story of the week, a World Cup update, or a World Cup date, if you will. A little over a month away from kickoff at Lumen Field, new data from the American Hotel and Lodging Association shows bookings are running below projections in most host cities, including here in Seattle. Nearly 80% of hotels surveyed in some host cities say they're at a booking pace below expectations and are actually behind a typical summer rate. Did you have bigger expectations for how many visitors we might get? How were you actually feeling about potentially hosting that many people?
Well, as someone in the midst of planning a wedding for this summer, I have a lot of thoughts on the World Cup. And the big one is that we made a point of not making the date during Seattle's World Cup games. We did not want to gouge our guest, who would have to come in and pay who knows how much for a hotel.
Yeah.
That influenced the entire timeline that we had. And now to see that, never mind, there aren't actually that many people coming. It's like, okay, great.
I mean, I've been treating this World Cup kind of like a doctor's appointment where I keep forgetting about it. And then I'm like, oh, crap. Okay, that's coming up. I need to remember, and then forgetting.
All right.
And I feel like a lot of my life, like I'm not a really big sports guy. I walk or take public transit to work. Like there's a lot of ways in which I don't feel like I'm going to be as heavily impacted.
Well, FIFA says we should still anticipate a record attendance for the tournament. And I certainly hope so, because I do want businesses to be successful, and I cannot imagine investing in a party that's just going to have low turnout. Definitely not the vibe you're going for. And I think about my neighborhood bar is just, I can see it. It's got all the blow-ups, for World Cup. And I am just really hoping that Don Lucho's packs their house every night, because I'm sure they cost a bit on Amazon to get all that stuff in.
Totally. I'm just like hearing that, though. It just feels like Spin Doctor, like, oh, don't worry, we have record attendance. Don't worry, everyone.
And I'm curious, like, at what point do we encourage locals to come downtown and like take a look at how much tickets are if these crowds don't materialize? At what point do we say, let's all come together and watch this?
Do the city a solid here. The association's survey also found that visa barriers and broader geopolitical concerns are significantly suppressing international demand. It's notable that Iran is slated to play here in Seattle. FIFA says they will play. And again, back to the investment here, the city's made some major changes in anticipation of these crowds. Seattle Times had some numbers. The city's expected to spend at least $32 million on World Cup preparations, $14 million coming directly from reserves.
Wow.
It makes me wonder what success looks like for the city with that kind of price tag attached to it.
I think at the end of the day, what you want is for the people that do come to come here, have a good time, see the sights, ride a ferry perhaps. And go home satisfied with their experience and tell their friends, because we see how people like to talk about Seattle online. And this is a great opportunity with hopefully nice weather, no smoke, fingers crossed. To come in, see a part of the country or part of the world they haven't before and enjoy it.
I like that as a measure of success. It's also happening during Pride, which I think will be an interesting time to see the city. So.
And Pride is a joyful experience for the city. So we will show our best to our international visitors. You're making me anxious about the smoke, Joe, because the weather is supposed to be hot, dry, and maybe smoky. We can't control any of that. I wonder if we should let go of all that stuff, even crowd size, and just focus on giving our visitors a great Seattle experience.
That's like number one for party hosting, It's like you can make all the preparations, you have all the invitations, you remind people, and then day of, you just kind of have to rock with what you've been given. And
good lesson for your wedding, Joe.
I'm taking copious notes here.
And speaking of great Seattle experiences, the city will be changing some things over the summer in anticipation of the festivities, not just your wedding, Joe. The outdoor concert series collaboration between the Crocodile and Friends of Waterfront Park is being canceled this year in favor of World Cup celebrations. Are you okay with shifting some of your expectations around some of your summer traditions in light of the World Cup?
No.
Jas isn't having it.
It is like a very interesting once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, I don't know when we'll do this again. So I am kind of curious to see, what the injection of tourists from around the world for a sport that is not insanely popular in our country will do for the city and what connections can be made. That's my like pie in the sky kind of reaction to it.
Honestly, before we move on from this, because I read an article about BC and what BC is doing in Vancouver to bring tourists in for their World Cup. And man, they're just putting it up on a big screen in Stanley Park, inviting people to come and party all the time. They're just really showing out. And I understand their hotel bookings are just fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Canada. And they've hosted the Olympics before. So I feel like they have some understanding of what it means to have hospitality. And I feel like America right now is not in that frame of mind.
Yeah. I wonder, we just need to let go of control of this situation and see what happens and lean in.
It's in FIFA's hands now, for better or worse.
All right, moving on to our next topic. The Port of Port Townsend made an announcement on social media this week. The organization is no longer using social media. It's true. The port's 2,100 Facebook followers will have to look elsewhere for stuff. So will their 115 Instagram followers. Even PT's departure post on Instagram was low performing with just 10 likes and no comments. Is social media where you go for news from government organizations and private businesses?
Yes and no. I think if you're like on Facebook, you're curating your feed accordingly. And that's kind of a choose your own adventure sort of thing. You can either fill it with official sources and news and whatnot, or literally anything else.
Yeah.
But the way I see it is that entities like this need to have more engagement outlets, not fewer.
The port's executive director called Facebook and Instagram, quote, host destroying parasites, saying they take our personal data and block human connection. They're really taking a stand here. The port has its own communication plan in place, by the way, urging people to read and listen to local news or go to their website for updates. And to be fair, the portofpt.com site seems well maintained and up to date. So they are taking their communication strategy seriously. It's just not Facebook and Instagram. Have you ever been tempted to take a social media break? Do you feel like you have a host destroying parasite in your pocket?
I mean, yes. But the thing is my stand about this, whether it's the Port of Port Townsend, whether it's an artist, whether it's whatever, is I think declaring stuff like that sets you up for failure immediately. Because I think the real G's, they just stop posting. There's
they
no
just
announcement.
Put it down and walk away.
Right. And then you find other ways to reach your audience. Whereas like I feel like you set yourself up for, if you do come back and post, people are like, well, I thought that you were off. And then now I looked at the Port of Port Townsend's Facebook page and people are in the comments being like, how dare you?
Oh, they're not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Streisand effect. So I'm just, if they had just stopped posting and leaned on other forms of communication with their audience, I think that could have been a way more effective communication strategy.
That is a strategy. That is an actual strategy.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm sitting here jealous of a port because it's so hard to see someone else living your dream of being just completely unencumbered from social media.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just being in journalism. I don't see that as an option.
It's not an option.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay. And I do put my phone down at 7:00 every single night. I started to do this like 2 weeks ago and it has changed so much. My brain feels cleaner in the morning.
Yeah.
It honestly does.
Yeah. Because I think that that's real discipline. You know what I mean? Like
it's hard.
It's kind of a cop out to just delete your profile. Like I think the real tea is being like, I'm just not going to get on Instagram after 9 p.m. or something.
It's been really an interesting experiment and I realize the role it plays in my life. But anyway, despite the low Instagram engagement, there is some animated discussion in the Facebook comments. Like you said, Jas, on the port's post, they're calling it a cop-out over there. And again, they've got their website. It's not like they're cutting people off. They're just not choosing social media as a way to reach out to people in Port Townsend.
I'm back into websites. I think we really got to get back into visiting
the .coms.
Right, bespoke places and not just having everything mediated by one place.
Is there a newsletter that we can sign up for to get all of the latest Port of Port Townsend updates, which I definitely knew existed before we came on here today?
Right. But it is cool to see government institutions that do use social media or TikTok or whatever in an interesting way. Like I think the Washington State Parks Department.
Washington State Department of Natural Resources.
Yes.
Amazing.
And I'm learning stuff about our state. I'm staying updated. Like that just feels like the best of both worlds.
And the Microsoft Paint maps that WashDOT does for traffic going into every weekend. Love those.
Brilliant. Okay, one last thing before we go. Seattle is home to more than 650 public staircases. Seattle Times profiled a group that likes to take advantage. Seattle Stair Walkers draws 20 to 30 core members most weekends. The group has logged more than 1,400 miles since founder Paul West started keeping track in 2024. Do you incorporate stairs into your daily routine? Are they a chore? Is this good exercise?
My mom always told me it's not polite to stare. And I believe that wholeheartedly.
When I go to the gym, I'll do the Stairmaster for like 5 minutes because I do think it's really good for your core and for your bum and all of that. And I recently actually picked up a book at the used bookstore over here in the U District called like Stairways of Seattle. And it's actually a whole guide to, different trails and stairs that you can walk within the city. So this was definitely on my mind, for spring and summer, is to really kind of embrace that because the hills here are like terrible. They're so intense. So it's really cool to see a group of people being able to connect with each other. Well, I can't do anything when I'm walking up the stairs. I'm like, don't ask me to tell you a story or anything about myself. Like I'm focused on the task at hand. So
Sure.
I reach a staircase and I get to the bottom of it and I'm just like, stairs.
Oh my gosh, this is my jam.
Really?
Oh my God, I read this story. I'm like, I want to meet up with these people right now.
Yeah.
Totally. My producer says if I want to do a story on the Seattle Stair Walkers, I'll need to find a new producer.
And
Vaughn's not having that.
Do you have a favorite staircase in Seattle?
4015 Fremont Avenue North. There's a little passageway that goes up in between the streets there. It's a short one, but it's a nice one, and it's frequently got a lot of trees and stuff around it. That
sounds so nice.
Yeah, it feels a little secretive. West emphasizes that community building and socialization is a real incentive in this group. He said he just wanted a couple of people to have a couple of beers and shoot the with them. The group's founding philosophy is don't be a jerk. What do stairs give you that a meetup at a bar or coffee shop doesn't?
I mean, I feel like there must be some type of neurological chemical thing that kind of goes in, where you're pushing up the stairs, and
endorphins firing.
Yes, endorphins. That is the chemical I was thinking of.
Yeah.
That does really feel like it connects you to other people. And I do feel like stairs present a challenge that simply walking does not.
Yes.
Where it's like, okay, damn, we have like 2 more staircases to get up. Like, let's do it together. Like, there's a sense of we're in it together.
Yeah.
And then you can be like, hey, remember that time we walked up those stairs? That was crazy, rather than another Bodhi, you know what I mean? So
yeah, the group is planning on doing the Base to Space fundraiser in support of cancer research. I don't know. This one might even be too much for me. This is where you walk up all 832 steps of the Space Needle.
That sounds sick. That's cool.
What a thing to say that you've been able to do.
Yeah. That's really cool.
What?
I'm not saying I would do it. I'm saying, what an accomplishment.
I love the evolution that just happened here. I feel like I learned something about you. You need the challenge.
Yeah, I think I love a challenge. I like doing something that feels very novel because, when you're doing it and it's you're at the end of your work day and it's hot and you just got a text from someone that you don't like. You have all of these things that are freaking annoying and then you have to, climb Denny. It's yeah, of course I don't want to do that. But if it's I'm doing it, not only am I doing it for cancer research, I'm getting to do something cool inside of an iconic Seattle architecture spot. All
right. I love what just happened here during our conversation. Joe, can I sign you up?
Yeah, I don't know if this is my journey, but mad respect to all of them.
Right on. I might join these stair climbers soon. All right, we're going to leave it there. Jas Keimig is a local arts reporter. Joe Veyera is an editor at Factal. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks so much.
Good to see you, Jas.
Good to see you too.
Appreciate you listening to Seattle Now, and thanks to our generous donors for your support. You know what's easier than walking up a flight of stairs? Rating or reviewing the show on your favorite podcast app. You don't even have to get tired out or sweaty. Today's episode was produced by Vaughn Jones. It was edited by Andy Hurst. Our production team also includes Caroline Chamberlain Gomez, Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and Paige Browning. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you tonight for Evening Headlines.